During this video, I describe my latest trip to Shenandoah National Park, where I hiked up the Berry Hollow to Old Rag Mountain Trail, stopped by the town of Luray, where I visited the locally famous Broad Porch Coffee, and stayed at a Postcard Cabin in Shenandoah North, where I had my own campsite and cooked my own dinner over a coal fire. I'd recommend this 2-day, 1-night trip to anyone who lives in Northern Virginia, and even managed to do the whole trip on one single charge in my Tesla Model Y. If you live in the DMV, Shenandoah National Park is like an annual pilgrimage, especially during the fall when you have views like these. Shenandoah National Park is one of 63 national parks in the US, but only one of 7 national parks on the East Coast. In addition to the many hikes, Shenandoah is well known for its 105-mile skyline, which stretches from the north to the south section of the park. But there are also 4 easily accessible entrances in the event that you don't have the time to make the full 3-hour drive down Skyline Drive. I started my journey to Shenandoah from Falls Church, Virginia, which is located about a 20-minute drive west of DC. The drive is very scenic, and one advantage of leaving early in the morning is that if you're driving west, meaning that the sun is behind your back, so you can enjoy a colorful view of the sky without needing to squint in the sun. Since Shenandoah stretches over 100 miles from north to south, the driving route to Shenandoah will vary depending on which part of the park you're headed towards. For my trip, I decided to tackle one of the 2 trails up to Old Rag Mountain, and because Old Rag is located south of Shenandoah's Front Royal entrance, the drive first started on 66 West before transitioning to 29 South. In total, the drive from any of the Northern Virginia suburbs to the Old Rag parking lot will take you about 2 hours in a moderate amount of traffic, and maybe a little bit less if you leave early in the morning. Shenandoah has well over 500 miles of hiking trails with many summits, but arguably the most famous summit is Old Rag Mountain, which sits at 3,300 feet above sea level. Why is Old Rag famous and considered a go-to hike? Hiking up to Old Rag means you'll see unique rock formations, there are stunning views at the top, and both hiking options up to the top are challenging, which makes it a popular choice for experienced hikers. Contrary to popular belief, there are actually 2 trails up to Old Rag. The most famous is the 9.4-mile loop, which takes about 6 hours or more to complete. The second is more accessible to the less experienced hiker because it's shorter at 5.4 miles and takes about 3.5 hours, and that's the one that I chose. Note that the National Park Service implemented a day-use ticket system for Old Rag in 2021 to manage crowds and protect the trail, so you'll need to go on their website and reserve one of the 800 tickets available per day in order to hike either trail. The hike itself starts from the Berry Hollow parking area, which is a small lot that can fit maybe 15 or 16 cars, so it's important to arrive early, especially if you go on a weekend. All Trails categorizes the hike as hard, with 1,700 feet of elevation. It took me 3.5 hours, though I stopped a number of times to take pictures at the summit, so you can probably do it under 3 hours if you're pressed for time. The hike itself is really pretty during late October, which for Shenandoah is peak fall foliage. You can see from these photos that the leaves vary from green to yellow to orange to red, providing perfect photo opportunities. When you get to the summit, you'll find a number of very large boulders that you can scramble over to find several spectacular vantage points of the Shenandoah Valley. Unlike some other summits which have a single viewpoint and get crowded easily, the summit at Old Rag is spread out, meaning that it's easy to take unobstructed pictures of the view below without getting in other people's way. However, because the summit is several thousand feet above sea level and it's open to the elements, it can get extremely windy. If you're headed to Getaway Shenandoah North, straight from the Old Rag parking lot, then the fastest route will take you through Luray. Luray is a town in Virginia's Shenandoah Valley and is probably most known for Luray Caverns, which is a vast underground cave system with walkways and unusual rock formations. On this particular trip, I skipped Luray Caverns and instead checked out a coffee shop called Broad Porch Coffee as I waited for my postcard house at 3 p.m. to open up for check-in. The reason I chose Broad Porch Coffee as a pit stop is because it's one of the highest rated coffee shops in the area, and it's actually a recommendation on Postcard Cabin's website if you filter to the Shenandoah North location. Street parking is available right outside of the shop, and it's free. When entering the coffee shop, there are probably 20 seats in total across a number of tables, as well as a shaded patio area outside with additional seating. This is the type of coffee shop where you can stay for hours with a laptop because there are plenty of electrical outlets on every wall and free Wi-Fi. If you're interested in foods and drinks, then you'll like that the prices here are pretty reasonable. Their drink menu is the most extensive, but they also serve food across breakfast and toast categories. I myself ordered the chia parfait and a matcha latte, both of which were quite nice. In the Shenandoah North location, there are a total of 42 cabins spaced out between two distinct loops, the larger Persimmon Loop and then the smaller Shire Loop. There are probably 60 to 80 feet between each cabin, which means that they're within viewing and hearing distance, but they're also far enough from one another where there's a sense of privacy. I noticed that during less busy nights, Postcard seems to assign guest cabins that are spaced every other apart, which is a smart move when capacity is under 50%. Each cabin is equipped with a bathroom, which is small, but it has all the essentials. There are plenty of towels above the toilet. The shower includes shampoo, conditioner, and body wash, and the water from the shower gets hot pretty quickly due to a built-in water heater. In my opinion, the kitchen is the highlight of the cabin since it contains all of the essentials including knives, pots, pans, plates, silverware, and even salt, pepper, and oil. I booked one of the bunk bed arrangements as you can see here, but Postcard Cabin also provides single bed arrangements more suitable for only 1 to 2 guests. The cabin also has significant storage space, at least for its size, and it includes these nooks on either side of the bed. The outside of the cabin is quite spacious. In my opinion, it's actually a plus that there's no privacy fence, since the space feels more open and integrated with nature. You can see here there's enough room on the picnic table and the chairs around the campfire, so that you could invite folks from nearby cabins over for dinner, or chill around the fire. Speaking of neighbors, each cabin has its separate driveway sufficiently separated apart from one another. Walking from the beginning of one driveway to another probably takes a good 30 seconds, and it's kind of fun to take that walk to see how others utilize their outdoor space. Each cabin comes with a fire pit and a grilling rack. During booking, you can purchase a firewood bundle, but I decided to bring my own supplies, which included matches, coal, and fire starter cubes. I also brought my go-to campfire food, which I like to call meat and potato aluminum foil packs. The way these work is you chop up sausage, potatoes, parsley, mushrooms, olive oil, salt, and pepper, and you roll that all up in an airtight aluminum foil pack. You then place the pack directly on the coals, making sure to rotate them consistently in order to avoid overcooking one side. If you enjoyed this video, then please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Lost in a Good Place.